You have to put 20% down on every single rental property you buy, right? Wrong. I can't invest in real estate because I don't have any money or any credit, right? Wrong. In this video, I'm going to show you how to invest in real estate with no money out of pocket. I have built a $10 million rental portfolio without using any of my own money, no money out of pocket. We also buy 150 to 200 houses a year. That's per year, and we don't use any of our money for that either. So I'm gonna show you guys those two things, how we do long-term investing, buy rental properties without using any of our own money, and how you can do short-term investing without using any of your own money. It is an extremely common misconception and question that I get all the time, is that you need money or money and credit to invest in real estate, and that is just simply not true. Before I tell you what OPM stands for, which is the whole genesis of this entire video, please click on the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell, and like this video. I would really appreciate it. OPM stands for other people's money. Obviously, money is needed to do a real estate transaction, but the good news is it doesn't have to be your money. So I'm going to talk about the two different types of real estate investments: long-term real estate investing without using any of your own money, and short-term real estate investing without using any of your own money. So let's start with long-term investing, which in my eyes is having rental properties, owning rental properties, having long-term investments. And you can do that without using any of your own money. In fact, there's a way that you can not use your own money to own a rental property and get an even lower interest rates than the crazy low interest rate out there right now. You can set up your deal where you're paying 2%, 1%, or even 0% interest on the property that you own. Before I get into that, let's talk about the two most common ways to fund the initial purchase of a rental property without using any of your own money. And those two ways are private lending and hard money lending. Let's talk quickly about private lenders. Private lenders are people that are willing to invest in real estate but don't want to do the work, so they're going to give you the money to do the work for them, or people that want to diversify their portfolio and have a safe, secure investment. Now, I'm not going to get into too much about private lenders, but you need to ask all your family and your friends and your family friends if they have any money that they're willing to invest, or if they know anybody that has money that they're willing to invest. Most people, then I tell them that, they roll their eyes saying they don't have anybody that has any extra money to invest in real estate. And every single time I tell them, have you asked everybody you know? Have you asked your friends, your grandma's friends, your aunts, your uncles, their friends? Have you asked everybody you know that does well and has some extra money? And they always say, well, no, I haven't asked everybody, but I just know the answer. So you don't know the answer unless you ask the question. So ask everybody you know. Tell them you want to get invested in real estate. Tell them you have a way to give them a secure, safe return, and try to raise as much private funds as you can, because that is my favorite way to use other people's money to invest in real estate. The other main source, which I've used private money and the source, is hard money lenders. And hard money lenders is an interesting name. It makes you think that it's like the mafia or somebody else is backing the money, but it's not. It's actually really, really easy. It's way easier to come up with than private lenders. Private lenders are just more based on a relationship and people you know and who they know. Hard money is a business. The whole sole purpose of the business is to lend money to real estate investors. And they heavily lean their criteria on the investment property, which is awesome. They're definitely going to look at your credit score and look at how much cash you have in reserves, but that's not quite as important to most hard money lenders as the actual deal. If the deal is a home run deal that makes a ton of sense, they are more than likely willing to fund the deal and the rehab if the house needs rehabbed. Those first two ways are great ways. They're the most common ways to create a rental portfolio without using any of your own money. You can fund the initial purchase and the rehab using those sources. You can also do that if you're wanting to flip a property. You can fund the rehab and the purchase price with hard money and private money if you're wanting to buy the property, rehab it, fix it up, and sell it on the open market. Or you can use both those funds if you want to buy it, rehab it, and keep it as a rental as well. Either way, you can use those funds. If you're using it for rental properties, make sure you do understand they're going to have to take the property to a bank and refinance it. We have a lot of videos on that. Click on this video above where we talk about the BRRRR strategy. We have a lot of videos where we talk about the BRRRR strategy and the BRRRR method. So either check out that method on our channel or check it out on another channel. There's a bunch of ton of great videos that talk about the BRRRR strategy, which is the way that you buy rentals without using your own money. Before I talk about the way you can get 0% interest on your rental properties, make sure to comment on this video. We have this amazing comment challenge we're doing throughout the rest of 2020. So any video we release in 2020, if you put a comment on it, your name gets put in a virtual hat. At the end of the year, we're gonna draw a name out of that hat and we're gonna give that person access to our team for a full day. If they're local or want to fly into St. Louis, that's great. We will let you be in our office all day talking about real estate. Whatever you want to talk about, if you want to talk about wholesaling, rehabbing, renting, property management, landlording, whatever you want to talk about, we have the tools here and we're going to put them at your fingertips. If you're from out of the state or out of the country, we can definitely do a virtual option, but we'll have you on Zoom. We'll give you our attention all day. This is a $10,000 value we're giving away for free just to comment on our videos. So comment on our dang videos, okay? A third common way to buy a rental property without using your own money is seller financing. It's not quite as common as using hard money or private money through the BRRRR method, but it is a way that a lot of people use. This is when the actual owner of the property, they have to have equity. About half of houses today are owned outright, or the owner has a ton of equity in the property. In seller financing, the person that owns the property is going to sell you the property, but they're going to take a note out on the property. They're going to be the bank on the property and they're going to be listed on the deed. So they're going to be protected because they're going to have an ownership interest in the property in case you default or don't make payments. But they would be willing to be the bank and they won't be as stringent on credit or those kind of things that maybe some other more institutional lenders would be. So the other thing about that is a lot of times you can negotiate a very low interest rate. I know a ton of people that have seller financing at 1%, 2%, or even 0% because you're potentially willing to pay a little bit more, pay closer to market value. So the person that owns the property gets more, but then they also are willing to potentially have less interest rate. Those first three ways and the next couple ways that I talk about owning real estate and buying real estate without using your own money, a big part of those is having the right mindset. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I talked to a ton of people that say they can't get a private lender because they don't know anybody, but they haven't asked anybody. You need to open your mind. You need to open your mindset and understand that there's a ton of money out there. You just need to figure out the best way that you can go get it. Like we just mentioned earlier, there's seller financing, there's hard money, and there's private money. So those are the first three. Now I'm going to talk about more of your short-term ways where you don't even need to lined up funding at all. You can have a credit score that's 500 and do these next two methods. And I know a ton of people that do these next two methods because they are not bankable and can't get any type of funding. It's not uncommon that someone that literally is not bankable at all, they're working on repairing their credit, they don't make a bunch of money, but over time they're going to work on their credit, and that is great. But what you can do in the meantime is if you can't get a private lender, you can't get a hard money lender, and you don't want to go down that seller financing method, you can do wholesaling. So what is wholesaling? Wholesaling is basically being the intermediary from the person wanting to sell their house to the person that is going to buy the house. And that person can be a rehabber, it can be a landlord, it can be anybody that is willing to purchase the property, more than likely that needs work, because that's what we kind of deal. We deal in spaces and properties that need some type of work, either cosmetic updates or some type of fixes that the property needs. So what do wholesalers do? Wholesalers get out there as much as they can. They meet as many people as they can involved in the real estate industry. They're talking to real estate agents all the time. They're talking to contractors all the time. They're joining local Facebook groups and talking about wholesaling all the time. They're going out and driving for dollars. They're driving around looking for abandoned houses or houses that need work. They're just in the real estate space. They're born salesmen or saleswomen that want to go out there and hunt the deal down, and then they get the property under contract at a discount. But they don't have to close because when you're wholesaling, you can sell that contract for a fee to the end buyer that has the money. So quick example, a wholesaler can get a property under contract for $50,000 and then sell that contract to a landlord or a rehabber or somebody that has money for a 10 grand fee. So the end buyer is paying 60 grand. The person who sold the property is getting 50 grand, and that 10 grand in the middle is the fee that the wholesaler gets. And there are hundreds of wholesalers in every market. They come across deals a multitude of different ways. So if you want to get involved in wholesaling, go meet other wholesalers who are doing it, learn what they do, how they do it. There is dozens of ways, dozens and dozens of ways to come across this kind of property. So if you come across one of those properties and you don't want to own it as a rental, you don't want to rehab it as a retail flip, or you just don't have the money or credit to do either of those, you can just turn around and wholesale that property. Don't let that discounted property go to waste. at least make a little bit of money on it and turn around and sell it to somebody else so you can pocket that money. And as you're doing that, I would strongly suggest working on becoming more bankable. As you're making some money wholesaling, work on building your credit, working on repairing your credit, work on getting a stable base of income so you can become bankable and you don't have to only wholesale the rest of your life, that you have other options. A ton of people do just wholesale and don't ever want to own a piece of property. That's fine, but that's another way you can do this without needing any money or any credit in that case. So here's a bonus tip for you. It's called JVing or joint venturing. It's basically when you partner with somebody who has the property, or you're providing them with the property, and you're kind of partnering up and using your own sources and strengths to make the project work. So a quick example of joint venturing or JVing is somebody else has a property under contract and are having trouble selling it, and you know somebody or you have a buyer for that property. You can provide that person the buyer, and then you can either split the profit with the person who originally had the property under contract, or you can take a percentage of it, or you can just get a flat fee. So basically you're helping move the project along, and you get a fee for doing that. Now there are some rules and regulations to JVing because it kind of walks that fine line of being an agent, and if you don't have your license and making money on selling or buying a property, but there are ways around that. You can give the person who's selling the property originally can give you ownership in that property. So there are a few ways around it, but make sure to consult someone who's done it before so you make sure you're not breaking any rules. So I just gave you some creative ways to invest in real estate without using your own money or own credit for that fact. You can buy rentals, or you can do short-term flipping, or you can do wholesaling or JVing. There's a ton of different ways that you can invest in real estate short-term and long-term without using your own money. But the most important thing and the best way to do that successfully is to get out there, meet people, go to those local meetups, go to meetup.com and type in real estate meetup, local real estate meetups. Go to Facebook, just go out and talk to people. Post on your Facebook that you want to get invested in real estate. Get your name out there and let people know what you're wanting to do. Even if you don't have money, that's okay. You'd be surprised at the opportunities that'll come your way. So if this video kind of opened your eyes to a little bit of new ways to get involved in real estate, even if you don't have money or credit, click on this video above. We go into a lot of detail about investing in real estate for newer real estate investors. We spend a lot of time going into detail and talking about processes and little nuances and ways to make a lot of money even if you don't have experience in real estate.